Good morning, everyone. I'm Leah Dixon from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, and I am here live every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock-ish to do a Facebook Live and showcase one of our stamp sets or some other product. So today I am going to be showcasing the Mountain Air stamp set, and we will be using the coordinating dies a little bit on this card as well. So this isn't a new stamp set to our catalog, but it is a stamp set that I think is great with Father's Day coming up, and it coordinates so beautifully with the Manly Moments kit that's available now in our new kit collections. So I'm going to switch my screen over and get started creating. I love it when you guys comment while I am creating. I can see comments today, yay. So yeah, definitely feel free to pop comments in there and let me know if you have questions or, just say hi. All right, so I'm going to switch my screen to my desktop. There we go. So now you guys hopefully can see my desktop and can see what's happening there. And I am going to just pop a comment in, and then hopefully that will start everything up for you guys to be able to say hello as well. All right, so this is the Mountain Air stamp set. It's one of our photopolymer stamp sets, which means it is clear. And what I actually, so you can, oops, put that on the wrong side. So it's these clear ones that you can see through, but what's actually really, really neat about this particular stamp set is it's like a double-sided or reversible stamp set is what they call it. You can stamp the detailed image and you can flip them over and stamp the other side to get like a full color in kind of image, or for me today I'm going to be using it to create like a shadowy background and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool that you can use both sides of these stamps. So that's the stamp set that we're using, and then the dies that we're using today, that's already on my table. There we go. The dies we're using today coordinate, so they cut out the trees that you can stamp. They have some additional trees. The cloud can be cut out, and then the mountains and the tree lines can also be cut out. So really, really handy for creating all of those layers. And today I'm going to show you as well that we can use this to create masks so that we can do some fun sponging. Or actually blending rather, with the blending brushes. So the first thing we're actually going to do today is use our mountain dies, and we're going to use it just with like a scrap piece of paper. So here, let me just trim up a piece of paper. And we're going to run it through our baby boss. I'm going to move these things out of the way, bring in the baby boss. There we go. Grab my plates. And so this is actually just a piece of like regular photocopy paper that I'm using. And we're going to run this through. There we go. Put that off to the side. And the reason I'm using just regular photocopy paper for this is because I'm trying to create a mask that's going to be a very, very thin layer, because if you use cardstock to create your masks, you can get a little bit of an edge around them where you can't get the ink in when you're using the blending brushes or when you're stamping over top. So I've created this mask just using very, very thin paper. All right. So we're going to take a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to put this mask down on top of here, and actually a little bit lower. I'm going to put it about halfway on my card. Okay, so right about the center is where I'm going to put this mask, and then I am going to grab my stamp. So you can see my stamp is very, very pink. I've been using it a lot in purple. Oh, and I haven't cleaned it. So let's find my chamois here, and let's clean this up. The reason I want it clean is because I'm about to touch it actually and flip it around, because I currently have it set up to be the very detailed side, but I'm actually going to start by stamping the reverse side of this. And so this is one thing actually, I want to make sure that doesn't line up. Okay, so I've actually got this just set up so it's the back side of my stamp. I'm going to get some rich raspberry ink, and I'm going to put this directly into my rich raspberry ink, and then I am going to stamp off. I don't want that to be full strength. And then I'm going to come in here and offset that, and I'm going to stamp this so that it's partway over top of my mask. Hi, Laura. So this is partway over top of my mask, and I'm really making sure to press down long and hard so that it gets into all the little grooves. And there we go. Now I'm going to lift that off. So I'm going to save that mask because we're going to use it again later. I'm going to stamp off my mountains a few more times and give them a good clean, because I'm going to be pulling them off my block again and flipping them around to use the detailed side now. Alright, so that should be pretty clean. There we go, flip that around. And now I'm going to ink this up again in rich raspberry. This time I'm not going to stamp it off though, I'm going to do full strength. And I'm going to line it up so that my mountains fit right into those little grooves. So you can see I used my mountain line to stamp that. All right, so we've got our mountains, we've got our nice little, like, I don't know, shadowy background. Good morning, Val. And now we're going to grab our trees and do another layer. So I really, really like this stamp set for the fact that I can just kind of stamp layer upon layer upon layer, and I don't need to do any kind of fancy cutting or any fancy lining up. So I've got my trees here on a block that's really too big. I should have probably taken my mountains off of my smaller block, but that's okay. So I've inked these up in Night of Navy, and I'm going to come in just low on my mountains and stamp my Night of Navy trees. There we go. So you can see they just kind of come in there and create like a nice base to our mountain line. And I'll set that off to the side. And I'm going to actually keep out, actually I'm going to close it for now because we're not going to use that color for a little bit. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get that mask again, and I am going to put a sun onto, oh, how did I do this before? Oh, I know why. I have to flip this over because our mountain line is the reverse image. So I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to grab what is the moon in our kit here, but I'm going to put it on my block backwards so that it's a solid flat sun. Let's get a good one there. So there we go. So I've got that on upside down, so it's going to be a nice solid sun. And I'm going to use crushed curry for this one. Now, the reason I have put my mask down again is because we're going to do the good old setting sun. So this is going to be down low on my mountain top. There we go. So there's my sun, just right down low, just setting. And then I'm going to need this mask one more time because we're going to kind of sponge our sky. Now before that though, I do need to create one more mask. So I'm going to grab that piece of paper that I used before, and I'm going to stamp a second sun on here so that I can fussy cut it and lay it over top so that I can have the ink stay off of my sun as well. Now I seem to have lost Oh, there they are, nice snips. So I don't even have to be too careful with this one. I just have to make sure that I get the one side cut out. The rest of this is down below the mountain line, so it doesn't even really matter. All right. So there we go. Right. So now to hold all of this in place, you can either just use your hand to hold it in place, and I'm going to do this just so that a little edge is showing. There we go. So I can put my sun like that. I can hold all of this in place, or I can tape it down. I'm personally just going to hold it in place while I do my sponging. I'm going to be layering up actually a bunch of colors to do this sponging. I'm going to start with Calypso Coral. So I just get a little bit onto my blending brush here. Good morning, Norma. And then just I'm going to start by going around my sun with my Calypso Coral. And then we're going to stop. That's all we're going to do for our Calypso Coral. My next color that we're going to blend onto here is going to be our Rich Raspberry. And so I've got a different blending brush for each kind of shade. So like my purples, my oranges, that kind of thing. I don't have a different one for each actual color. Okay, so now this one I'm going to do full across the mountain range and in with the Calypso Coral that I had before. Go. It's getting a little bit dark on the one side. I'll darken it up a bit on the other. Okay, there we go. Good morning, Gail. So I'm just sponging, or blending, rather, a sky here. And this is going to be like a sunset sky. So our next color is going to get a bit darker. We're going to use the Night of Navy on our sky. So far we've used Calypso Coral and Rich Raspberry. Now we're going to come in with our Night of Navy. I'm going to keep this one kind of higher up and just blend down a bit. There we go. Keeping it fairly bright right around the sun. And then finally, we're going to come in with a black and sponge in some black up on the top of our sky. So I do have separate blending brushes for black and white. I don't mix those with other colors. All right. So there. And again, I'm going to start this one up at the top and work down with it. So I don't want my sky to get too dark. There we go. All right, so now our sky is complete. We can remove our masks. So you can see we've got that whole sky there all done up. So it did get a little bit dark on the one side. I might come back in with a lighter color and just see if I can reclaim some of that color over there. You do have to be careful with our black because it can get quite dark. And then you don't have a lot of choices. I'm just going to come back in with a little bit more Rich Raspberry. All right, now while I'm finishing this up, I'm just wondering, we have a few choices for sentiments on this one. Could make it a sympathy card, or I was thinking a thank you card would be nice as well. So you guys let me know your thoughts on this one around the sentiment to go on this. Come in with a bit more purple and lighten that up. There. All right. Better. Okay. So now that we've done our sky, we need to take care of the lower half of our card as well, because having the white base on this makes it just seem a little bit off, being that it's a night sky. We all know that we get those blue haze and like blue shadows and stuff in the evening down on the ground. So I'm going to come in and ink up with some Night of Navy down at the base of our mountain as well. All right, so I'm going to start in around the trees as my first place to add color, and I'm going to go up a little bit into our mountains just to take that white edge off of them. And then we're going to ink up again. I'm going to make it quite a bit darker around the tree line and then lightening in both directions. So as we come down, I will do blue all the way down, but we're going to keep it a lot lighter at the base than we do around the center. Okay, a little bit more here. And then with blending, you can make this as light or as dark as you want. You can do just a quick little layer and stop, or you can come in and layer it lots and create some really rich, dark colors. A little bit more. Oh, thank you, Mary. So just a little bit more here. So I am doing circular motions as I do this. It's fine, then it goes on and we don't get big streaks. All right, so I think we're just about done. Oh, a little bit blue on my finger, I think. Oh no, I saved it, good. Just a little bit up into our mountains one more time. Okay, there we go. So that is our background, our night sky with our shadowy ground. And now we just get to start to embellish this and add it onto our card base. So to embellish this one, I'm going to use some linen thread. Move that out of the way. And I'm going to tie a little bow of linen thread down here at the bottom. I'll put that across twice and then snip. There we go. And then I'm just going to readjust that because I didn't leave too much. Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that you guys have such overcast and cold weather, Mary. We are definitely having an early summer today. It's already warm out. I had breakfast on the deck at like 6 o'clock and it was warm. I was in a t-shirt. And it's just getting hotter and hotter, which I'll take it. Hopefully the kids will get a chance to swim tonight. So there we go. So I've just tied a knot, wrapped that around twice and tied a knot. And then I'm going to tie my bow. I just like to do 2 little bunny ears. And voila. And we just kind of wiggle it around until we get the shape. And then I can trim our ends. There we go. All right. So now this piece, we are going to use some Seal Plus to attach this to a Blackberry Bliss base. I just found it goes really well when you've mixed the black with the rich raspberry. It just creates a really nice color. So I am going to use Seal Plus to attach this. You could put it on with dimensionals, but I didn't want to pop it up just because I'm going to be popping up the sentiment. So I'm just using some Seal Plus to put this down. go. Now, I do have trouble with this sometimes, lining everything up, making sure it's all going to be centered. There we go. And just put that over. There we go. So we're just about done. We just need to add a sentiment to this now. Nobody's left a comment about what you guys prefer, so I am going to bring in my absolute favorite stamp set for adding a sentiment to anything. This is the Peaceful Moments stamp set. I just find that there's so many great, great sentiments in here, and I think, let's see here, I think I'm going to use the Tasteful Label dies, and I love this one, just the shape of it and everything on this card. So let's see if we've got a sentiment here that's going to fit nicely on there. Yeah, this is too big. The thank you, ooh, would just fit. Okay, the deepest sympathies fits. Happy birthday. Happy birthday might be good. This is a nice masculine birthday card. Nope, too big, too big. Okay, so I think we're going to do the happy birthday on this one. And yeah, this will make a great masculine card. So I'm going to get just a scrap of crumb cake cardstock, and I'm going to pull out my happy birthday sentiment here, pop this on a block, happy birthday there, popped onto a block, and then let's stamp this with our Knight of Navy. Just kind of center that on there. Well, that didn't come out very dark. Let's try that one more time. Let's see. Maybe it's that I need to re-ink. I've been using a lot of Knight of Navy. Okay, I'm going to do a quick little re-ink, and I'll show you guys the best way to do this re-inking. Let's see. Where is my Knight of Navy? Oh, interesting. I might not be re-inking. I don't. Oh, there it is. Like, oh no, don't tell me I don't have any, but yeah, I have it. So I like to just do a little zigzag across my ink pad, and then a little zigzag the other way. I don't do any more than that because I don't want to over ink it. I don't like having an extra juicy ink pad. And that's all I'm going to do. Oh, thank you, Gail. Thanks, Norma. All right, and then we can just get straight away to stamping. Oh yeah, that's way better. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over because it doesn't matter. Every paper has two sides. All right, and there we go. That's way better. You want to have a really nice, bold sentiment for this card. Otherwise, the sentiment's going to get lost on the card itself. All right, so with that done, we'll move all of this stuff out of the way. We'll bring our baby boss back. And our plates. We're going to pop this down. So because this one just kind of fits on this, it doesn't have a lot of wiggle room. And then this will also help me line it up so it's exactly where I want it. I stamped it first, and then I'm going to die cut it. Okay, come on. Now the baby boss can be a bit finicky. It likes to be nicely staggered. There we go. Right, put that off to the side. And so one thing I love about these pieces is that we get all the nice stitching around them. Okay. So now, oh, thank you, Valerie. So now we're going to add this layer on, and we're going to pop this on with some dimensionals. So I'm just going to flip it over, and I'm going to put them kind of top and bottom so that they're not going to be touching the linen thread that we have on here. I could have gotten away with using minis, I think, on this as well, but that's okay. All right. pop that sentiment on there. And our card is just about finished. This is the part I always forget to do, and then I'm scrambling when I go to use the card, is we're going to add an inside layer to this card. So I think actually before I add this inside layer, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping, and I think I'm going to grab just a couple of the trees from our Mountain Air set and just do a few trees, and I'm going to stamp them in Night of Navy like the trees that were on the front of the card. Let's see, that block's too small. Let's grab a good old paper pumpkin block. They always fit. There we go. And our Night of Navy ink is right here. And I am going to ink those up, put them on the inside of my card. There we go. And I think I'm going to add them onto my envelope as well. So set that to the side, bring in my envelope. There we go. And now we've got just that little added touch to both our envelope and our card, and we can quickly glue this in. Now, I am going to use liquid glue for this because that way I can get it lined up nicely. There you have it. I actually got that lined up. And so there's our card with our decorated inside and our decorated envelope. I am just going to switch my screen over for a second. If I can figure out how to do that. All right, so that was our card this morning. My first time using Mountain Air in quite some time. I always find when we get new catalogs, then my old stamp sets get a little bit forgotten. But yeah, with Father's Day, I just felt like I needed to grab that one, and camping season's coming, and yeah, I just wanted to play around with Mountain Air. So yesterday was a hectic day, and I had no internet at school, so I couldn't do any posting, but I will be featuring Mountain Air all week, and so watch for samples for the rest of the week of various Mountain Air cards. Some of them will be using the mountains, some of them will be using just those gorgeous trees and creating some really nice stuff. And yeah, so I've got that. And then I do have my newsletter just went out today. So if you're on my mailing list, you should have received that. So check your junk mail and stuff. It might have gone there. It's from Leah Dixon, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And there's so much happening in June. I can't believe it's already June. But Stampin' Up! Has just a ton of stuff happening, continuing with host promotions. There's the last chance list for our mini catalog. What else do they have happening? Oh, now it's completely gone out of my mind, but it's all in my newsletter. If you don't currently subscribe to my newsletter, here on my Facebook page, you can go up and sign up to receive my newsletter. There's a link at the top of my page for that, or you can just contact me and I'll get your information and sign you up to that. And yeah, there's also some classes in there. I am taking it a bit easy this June in terms of classes, and just offering one card class plus my monthly club. Just June is crazy at school, and I don't want to go insane this June. So I do have one card class. It's using the Biggest Wish stamp set that I was featuring last week, and it's got kind of a little tropical twist to it. There's a link to sign up for that on my blog, as well as in the newsletter, or you can just contact me directly and I'll send you to the right place to get that information. And the sign-up deadline, though, is the 7th, so that I can get everything cut and mailed out to you guys before the class on the 18th. And yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys have a fabulous Tuesday, and I'll see you all next Tuesday. All right, bye-bye.